big snowstorm coming, and maybe we're going to have to cancel that Sunday dinner with family and friends, but I'm going to make a big pot of Tuscan bean soup, and maybe that's going to get us through 2 feet of snow. Let's go through the mise en place real quick, just in case you want to cook along with me. I have about 8 cups of chicken broth here. Now this is homemade, but don't be intimidated. You know those rotisserie chicken that you get each week at the grocery store because they're such an incredible value? Well, you can pick the meat off, freeze the carcass, and then when you have an afternoon, throw them in a big pot of water, boil it for a couple of hours, and now you've got chicken broth, homemade. And you can put it in these containers and freeze it. I have about 1 pound of northern white beans that I soaked overnight, but you don't have to do that. You can just use a few cans of canned cannelloni beans. About 1 pound of fresh pork meat that we're going to brown up. Now my grocer did not have the escarole this week, so what I bought was a head of broccoli rabe. This is about 1/2 a head, maybe 4 cups roughly chopped. A cup of diced carrot, a cup of celery, and a cup of onion diced. So this 1/2 cup of parsley, it's actually fresh frozen. And you can do that yourself by getting some from the garden or going to the grocer and getting a few bunches. Grab a little plastic container, put it in there. Now don't rinse it first because we don't want any freezer burn. And when you're ready for some parsley, just go into the freezer, grab a bunch of this, rinse it, chop it, and voila. 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, teaspoon of salt, 1 bay leaf, large, about 4 cloves of garlic. Normally I mince it, but for some reason today I just wanted to slice it. I want to see those chunks in my soup today. And then the rind of a Parmigiano Reggiano. And also a little bit of cheese on the side in order to grate at the end. I'm browning up the meat nicely here in a cast iron pan, which is always a great idea to get those little crispy bits. And I'm also going to add the salt and the crushed red pepper. Let's transfer that into your soup pot. We'll add our celery and onions, carrots. I'm going to saute that up until it's kind of, the onions are clear. Now the onions are going to just naturally deglaze that pan. The bits are going to come up from the pork. So one of the big mistakes of the home cook is that we underseason. So even though we've already added some salt and red pepper in our recipe, we're going to add just another layer of flavor by adding a little bit of salt to our sautéed vegetables. Sauté our garlic. Let that go a minute or 2. Do not burn the garlic. Parsley. Looking vibrant. Beans. Our chicken broth. Our greens. Looks like a lot, but believe me, it's going to wilt down. Forget our cheese rind. Add our bay leaf. That's so pretty. Cover, bring to a boil, and then simmer for about 30 minutes. So while we were waiting for the soup to finish, a bunch of deer came through the backyard, through the woods, the beautiful, beautiful backyard woods. 2 large deer, and then 7 deer after them. It was just this wonderful moment. Anyway, not sure where they're headed. Maybe they're nervous about the snowfall. But the soup is ready. Here it is. Absolutely lovely. We're going to fish out the rind and the bay leaf, which is somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly where. A little bit of cheese. Let it rain. That is delicious. The rich broth, and then a little bit of background heat. And remember, we made some Italian bread a couple weeks ago. You can find that recipe. Wonderful to just dip in. Wonderful. This is going to get us through this snowstorm. Tuscan White Bean Soup. Perfect for a snowy day. Make it and spread some joy. How did you get that shot? You have like cat-like reflexes.
I didn't press it, but it still started recording.
Put it in some water in a big pan and boil the bejeebies. Boil the hell out of it. And now you've got your own chicken broth.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing. Peace.